Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Today, I'm going to share with you on the topic, the danger of wrong cause and effect perception. What do I mean when I say that? Wrong cause and effect perception. One simple example you will get is when a robber thinking, I want to get rich, and try to rob the bank or maybe a jewelry shop and then get rich. Maybe for some time, he hasn't got caught and get free. And then thinking that, oh wait, this is the way to get rich. So, if a robber thinks like that, then he's getting wrong cause and effect perception. Because, in actual fact, according to the law of karma, there's no way robbing, depriving others of their property can be a cause of getting rich. In fact, it is a cause of falling into poverty. But not being able to see the real cause and effect and only derive a conclusion, cause and effect conclusion based on superficial phenomena, then he may come into the wrong conclusion. By robbing others, I will get rich. And this is very wrong according to natural law, the law of cause and effect, the law of karma. Because such karma, when it ripens, it will cause poverty and harm, being deprived of gains. So this is the meaning. So today we want to look into this topic, especially regarding our needs and our wants. What we actually need and what is actually our wanting. Look at your, for the lay people, if you look at your bill statements from maybe last month, and how much have you spent on the real necessity for life? And how much you spent on excessive consumption driven by vanity? Oh, I want to show off on my birthday party or something like that. So, or maybe just because sometimes you do something, not really, sometimes for vanity, sometimes for just to conform to social needs, social expectation. You do something out of, for the eyes of others only, not really what you need. You check your own bill, your bank statement or whatever, how much you spend. So often, if you go through it, so often you feel that the one thing, which is not the real needs of us, is not that much. The one thing is a lot, but the real needs are not so much. But we work so hard because we want to satisfy our desires, which is not really what we need. And sometimes because of this, the urge to satisfy our desires, our vanity, our false sense of needs, we think we need, but actually not really that causes so much anxiety, pressure, and negativities in our mind. So, especially when sometimes you are bombarded online with marketing advertisements, health remedies, we need to take these vitamins, that needs, these supplements and that supplements. Some are maybe real needs, but so often we may not really need them. And sometimes investment advice, you make decisions based on momentary impulses, and personal likes and dislikes. So at that time, do you possess a kind of a firm, internal, unshakable clarity that, this is what I need. No matter what the advertisement tell you, you need to do this, you need to do that. But you have a clear mind. You don't get carried away, you don't get swayed by this, the advertisement or whatever, the influence. You know clearly how often you can do that. And because of that, desires, the wanting, sometimes we also complain, if only I could earn a little bit more money. But this little bit more money is never a little, always more and more. Last time somebody told me, if I have 5 million, I will become a monk. 5 million, but after, I think by now he has earned up to 10 million already. But he wouldn't do that. That's not easy. So it's because of the desire. So we get held hostage. You get held hostage by endless wants. So today, in this society, we need to be careful. So how can we check? Is this really useful for me? Should I just believe or follow the trends? Or how can I make clear judgment? What is really beneficial? What is really wholesome? Then, in the Buddha's teaching, there is one sutta we call Kesamutti Sutta, or more commonly, popularly known as Kālāma Sutta. In this sutta, this sutta is recorded in Anguttara Nikaya. At that time, those Kālāma people, we call Kālāmas, Kālāma people. Some people say stay around, somewhere around Gulu or something. Okay, according to his historian. They face a very perplexing situation when the Buddha came to the town. And in this place, very special. There are so many ascetics, Brahmins, and spiritual teachers who always frequent this place and pass by this place. And every teacher who arrive, they praise their own doctrines. My teaching, this is follow my teaching, you go to heaven or whatever. Or this is only right. All other teachings are wrong. Only my teaching is correct. And fiercely, all these spiritual, they condemn other teachers' teaching, disparage, they belittle the views of others. So over time, after some time, these Kālāma people, they get bewildered, completely bewildered. So by the time the Buddha arrived in their town, one more ascetic, great ascetic, the Buddha. So they approach the Buddha with great confusion. They ask, Venerable Sir, we truly do not know whom to believe anymore. Everyone sounds so convincing. So who is actually right? Who is speaking the truth? How can we decide who is true? So looking at these town people, these Kālāmas, who are utterly overloaded with all this information, just like today, we are overloaded with plenty of devotion, information, all sorts of beliefs, all sorts of philosophy, all sorts of theories. So during that time, Kālāmas also faced that. So the Buddha delivered a very profound and revolutionary discourse that shines. And only in the Buddha's teaching you find such a teaching. It's timeless. The Buddha said, Kālāma. Very wonderful. Ma anu sawena ma paramparaya ma itikiraya ma pitaka sampadhanena. Ma takahetu ma naya hetu ma akara paravitakena. Ma ditini jana kantiya ma babbarupataya ma samanono garoti. Yada tume kalama attunawa janyata. Ime Dhamma kusala, so on and so forth. I'll translate for you. Do not go upon what has been acquired by repeated hearing. No, because you always hear it again and again, you take it as truth. Nor upon tradition. Not simply because it is a traditional practice, you take it as truth. That's correct. Nor upon rumor, hearsay, no. Nor upon what is in the scripture. This is very powerful. Even when something is given in the text, in the scripture, it is not conclusive that this can be right. And then these are 4 ways of recording or presenting. Then another 4 ways is about thinking. Now, nor by surmise, axiom, specious reasoning, and nor upon bias towards a notion that has been pondered over. I have been thinking about it again and again. It must be true. So these another 4 ways about reasoning or thinking power, thinking wisdom. Even you have thought, ponder upon it, even you have thought deeply about it, it is not conclusive that this is definitely true. So 4 in about recording the means of getting the knowledge. 4 based on our own thinking. So 4 become actually the category of Suttamaya Panya, hearing. 4 based on your reasoning, your Chintamaya Panya, your thinking, which may not be true. And then another 2 ways of the knowledge, which is also may not be conclusive. Nor upon another seeming ability. Someone has shown psychic power or whatever, may not be true also. Nor upon the consideration, this monk is our teacher. Even that is not conclusive. Because what happens if your teachers get wrong? Then the Buddha teach, what was the standard? It can be more confusing if the Buddha didn't show the way. The Buddha said, Attanava janyata. When you know for yourself, Attanava janyata, Kālāmas, when you know for yourself, these things are unwholesome. These things are blameworthy. These things are censured by the wise. Okay, so the wise is a yastic. One of yastic is the wise. But later, we have to know how to know who is the wise. But usually the wise people, they don't harm themselves. This is a clear thing. These things, when undertaken and observed, lead to harm and suffering. This is very powerful. It requires a knowledge to penetrate the real cause and effect. Especially if you have practiced up to dependent origination, then you can say these things, when undertaken and observed, lead to harm and suffering. For example, the robber. The robber cannot have this ability because he derived the conclusion based on superficial. Really, it's a phenomena. Oh, I rob, I get rich. But only in order to achieve up to the level you know for yourself, Attanava janyata, you need to have the ability to see cause and effect. Then you should abandon them. Then, in the other way, the Buddha also said in the positive way, Kālāmas, when you know for yourself, these things are wholesome, these things are blameless, these things are praised by the wise. These things, when undertaken and observed, lead to benefit and happiness. These required. Then you should enter upon and abide in them. So this sutta tells us, the discourse tells us, we must not live by blind followership. Now so often we follow the media, we follow when the media bombard us a lot. But sometimes people say the lies when told 1,000 times become true. People take it as true because it has been told again and again repeatedly. But this is not correct also. So we need to investigate and check directly. Is it good or is it bad? Is it praised by the wise or whatever? Is it wholesome, blameless, praised by the wise, and lead to benefit and happiness? Okay, so we can look at it this way, using this kind of high standard of justice, and we look at when someone tries to persuade us what we should do, what we should not do, we should buy this, buy that, or whatever. This is good for you. You check it with this standard. Know it for yourself. Is it good? Is it bring benefit? So if you can look at it this way, you can distinguish very easily, very clearly. What you need is because you need it, because it must be beneficial for you. But if it is not, then it can be just adding on to our desires, our vanity, like that. So not only in this aspect, in many aspects also you can use this very clear, very strong yardstick. So now, so after that, the Buddha also tell us, let go of our greedy. If you only satisfy our actual needs, life is not so hard. Life is not so hard. We will not be busy ourselves, burden ourselves unnecessarily. We can spare more time for Dhamma, spiritual. Then the Buddha also gave us very powerful guidance according to Mahasatipatthana Sutta commentary. It says the four Sampajañña. In fact, these four Sampajañña, in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, the Buddha used Sampajañña, but it's further explained in the commentary. So this clear comprehension, translated clear comprehension Sampajañña, is so important in our Buddha's teaching. It comes out as a one full chapter in the Kayanupassana, the Satipatthana. Okay, now, what are these four clear comprehension? First, Sattaka Sampajañña, clear comprehension of purpose. If you do things with clear comprehension of purpose, then you ask yourself, what is the true purpose of doing this or buying this? Did this bring genuine benefit to myself and others? Is it merely for vanity, face, or a momentary impulse? Then the second kind of clear comprehension of suitability, Sappaya Sampajañña. Is this the correct time to do? Is it the right place to do? Is it the right context to apply this and that? Appropriate for doing this. Is this the most effective way or righteous means to solve the problem? Will this contribute positively to my long-term life goal? This, in fact, in simple terms, what add on as a plus for us, then it is good. Sappaya. This clear comprehension helps us to see what is a plus, what is a minus. If you look at everything as what contribute to my purpose and to my achievement and success, and what contribute to my failure and downfall, then it is very easy. Then the third one, Gochara Sampajañña, clear comprehension of domain. Because am I to guard my pure heart and current task? This is actually for meditation. If you have a meditation object, don't be swept away, don't be carried away from your rightful main task. Then the fourth, Asammoha Sampajañña, clear comprehension of non-delusion. Just now is Gochara Sampajañña, clear comprehension of domain. Not be carried away by your main purpose. What is right at hand that you are doing. Then the fourth Sampajañña, clear comprehension of non-delusion, Asammoha Sampajañña. Then you can, this is very deep, you can look into it, the empty nature, the impermanent nature, the non-self nature of things, of yourself and the things. So you will clearly know, you don't get carried away by the superficial reality, the beauty of it, the nice things of it, nice appearance or whatever. No, you look into the substance, and if it's really neat, then you know it. Okay. So with this, it guides us. If you can apply this, it can guide us to use our life, apply our life in a very beneficial way and meaningful way. So this is in this life, this is very precious. Like we get human life. We should not squander our opportunity. We should apply wisely. Try to cultivate, lead our life with cultivate all the wholesome quality instead of chasing after superficial things. So we should learn to cultivate loving kindness, compassion, mindfulness, clear comprehension, wise attention, etc. in every present moment, so that our life can improve and don't get swayed by the tide of the modern world outside. Okay. So with this, we can proceed to more spiritual achievement. When we can see what cause, what effect, what is the cause, what is the effect for whatever you do, business or life or meditation practice, whatever, it is very, very helpful. And sometimes when we face difficulty, we get a shot of arrow, so to speak. So you get something attack you, disturb you, or something, you get a blow in your life. If you can see through what actually harm you and what actually helps you, sometimes you cannot avoid harm, but you can contain the harm and not to allow the harm to aggravate. So let's look at this. In this life, we ask this question also, what do you wish to avoid? Or some people say, I hope I don't get sick. I hope I don't encounter bad people. I hope my family is safe and no painful things happen. We have a lot of good wishes like that. These are good wishes. But if we really look at it properly, what are the sufferings that we actually can avoid? And what are the suffering that is unavoidable? Certain things you really cannot avoid. Your bodies grow old. Your loved ones leave you, depart for whatever reason, or maybe pass away or whatever. And things always don't go smoothly sometimes. Sometimes people misunderstand us. Sometimes our effort doesn't produce immediate rewards. So now, in life, we are bound to encounter some adversities. This is samsara. The Buddha calls it samsara because this is the reality of life. That sometimes life is not all roses as we wish. So, but when external things happen, when we encounter certain things, sometimes we get hurt. You feel, I get painful, whatever. But what are the things actually is the pain or suffering are unnecessary? What are the pain are unavoidable? If we need to see. Sometimes people don't understand. They say, I lose my loved ones. Then you cry, or maybe your business, you encounter some hardship. You lose your money, your investment. Then you feel so much pressure, mental suffering. Look at this. One is actually empirical, real loss. But another is your mind. The loss of mind, the loss of peace, loss of happiness due to whatever happens. These two aspects, two kinds of suffering actually happen. When we lose something, when we suffer something, two things happen. One is bound to happen. We call maybe a result of our karma or result of our mistakes. It happens. unavoidable, cannot be changed anymore. But certain thing is our mind. The pressure that we suffer, the anxiety that we face. Is this bound to happen? Is sure it must happen, necessary to happen, or unavoidable? No. The emotional pressure, emotional pain that we get actually is not fated. We are not by fate we have to suffer like that. This is not necessary. All this emotional pain we need not suffer. In the Buddha's teaching, we discover this. Pain, external loss, yes, it can happen. Sometimes loss of reputation, yes, it can happen. But the emotional pain, emotional suffering is not necessary. This is avoidable. Because if we can distinguish clearly what is unavoidable, already happened, cannot be changed, no more relevant in the sense that it cannot be changed, cannot be remedied, then if we can see this clearly, it need not be a cause of suffering for my mental suffering. It need not be a cause for my mental suffering. Only when I attach, I hold on to it, it should be this way, it should be that way, that cause suffering in our mind. If we don't attach, external suffering, they come and go. It's just impermanent. It happens. Yeah, you lose something, you lose money, you lose your beloved ones or whatever. This is bound to happen. This cannot be changed. Accept it. But don't attach to it, then you can escape. You can escape. So when you can see, so in the Buddha's teaching, the Buddha in the very famous Samyutta Nikaya, in the Salayatana Vagga, connected discourse on the sixth sense basis, the Buddha gave very good analogy. The first arrow of life cannot be completely avoided. What is this? But there are second arrow, the emotional one, the pain one, painful. You see, because of attachment, you suffer the second pain. You already lose something, yes, that is a loss. We don't say it is not suffering, it is suffering. But when we, because of our attachment, because of our self, because of our craving, because of our ego, we suffer the second loss, emotional pain. So in this text, the Buddha give analogy of two arrows. Asutawa bhikkhave puttho jano saririkang vedanang vediyati so sochati kilamati paridevati urataling kandati samohang appajati. Meaning, the untaught ordinary person, when experiencing bodily pain, griefs, laments, weeps and beats his breast, falls into confusion. Yeah? The Buddha continued, he is like someone who, after being struck by the first arrow, is then struck by the second arrow. You see or not? The Buddha said, you already suffer. The first arrow is the pain that you cannot avoid, you already got it. But when you strike, you beat your heart, you blame, or you suffer, you cry, you suffer the second arrow. Why add pain to pain? This is the meaning. So if you can see clearly, the first pain need not be the cause of the second pain, second suffering that you inflict on yourself. So this is okay. So this. So you look at whatever's life, you train, you tell yourself, my mind can be trained. I can train my mind to the extent that I can face all bad encounters of life in samsara and yet keep my mind composed and peaceful without being burned, tortured by the first arrow, the first pain. Especially sometimes sometimes people criticize us. But Only when you attach to the words is gone. Yeah, we have suffered some maybe loss of reputation or whatever, or people slander us. You do what you can do. If you can improve the situation, yes, good. The Buddha doesn't tell us that, you just accept, no need to do anything to improve a situation. No. The Buddha just says, don't waste your energy on what cannot be helped. This is what cannot be helped. And sometimes you want to help in the wrong way. I want to revenge. In fact, this is worse, from the point of cause and effect. Sometimes whatever happened is just a result of our karma. Just take it. Just tolerate it. Like that. So, ask ourselves this question. What truly harms us? Okay? Then you can get an answer. Usually external conditions, they belong to the first arrow. Sometimes internal physical suffering, pain, disease, also is a first arrow. You need not. So that's why the Buddha said, when the body is sick, let the mind not be sick. Because mind need not be sick because of the body is sick. Okay? Because the sickness of the body is the first arrow, but the mind that suffer sorrow, fear, this is second arrow. Okay? There's a story about Venerable Sariputta. He got his mind so well, but ordinary people cannot do like that. The story says that two yakas come by. One yaka, the very evil, or we call devil, or maybe a spirit. They come. He said, I want to test this ascetic. He struck Venerable Sariputta meditating, struck his head with very powerful force, very, very powerful. The sutta say this force was even powerful enough to split a great mountain. Very powerful. But because Venerable Sariputta sitting there with in deep samadhi, very deep, powerful Dhamma power, so he didn't die. Other people would die. Venerable Maṅgala saw this and he asked, Sariputta, are you alright? Sariputta said, friend, I'm well. Only my head hurts a little. Because actually the real reason is his Dhamma power. But he was not shaken by that feeling. He didn't. Arahant, very powerful. He's Arahant. So a little bit sensation, but because of the mind power, the pure mind, he didn't suffer too much harm. He didn't say he want to revenge or whatever. This is also this is extreme case. When the people want to do it because of mind is so powerful, you cannot be hurt. This is a very extreme situation. Not all the great Arahant can do that, not everyone. But it tells us the possibility that the mind can be well preserved. When your mind is very powerful, very strong, that even very powerful physical impact, the mind can maintain clear. To the point, it even protect the body. This is a very powerful case. So in the sutta also, just as I told you, I want to quote you that the Buddha told Nakula Pitta, that's a Samyutta Nikaya, to the elderly householder. The Buddha said, because the householder was sick, the Buddha said, Atura kaya same sato chitang anaturang bhavi sati. Though the Buddha said, train yourself like that. Though my body may be sick, my mind will not be sick. Like that. So this way. So that because this is what we can do. Because the sickness of the body need not be a cause of suffering. It is not the cause of suffering for the mind. When the mind suffers, it is because of the weakness of the mind only, the craving, the ego, the self only. So if we can get rid of this impurity and weakness of our mind, we can overcome so much suffering. So much suffering. So how to not to suffer like that? And then the Buddha did not give us further tool of Dhamma power that we can equip ourselves so that our mind, when we encounter unpleasant experiences in life, we can not be shaken. 5 things. One is saddha, faith. Especially your faith in the law of cause and effect. Then when something happens, well, this is the result. I don't need to create new causes. You don't need to make a bad situation worse. Okay. Instead of asking, oh, why am I the only one so unlucky? Why me? Your mind, you look at life has a cause and effect. What I face now is the ripening of past conditions. I can still create new wholesome causes now. So if you think like that, now I have opportunity to create new causes, new good causes, then your mind will not despair under whatever situation. Then the second, the power of energy. Many people give up on themselves after sometimes energy, they don't work hard. When they suffer something, some setbacks, they give up. But the Buddha teaches us to work hard because every present moment is great opportunity, a new beginning. Work hard. Then thirdly, mindfulness, the power of mindfulness, sati. Second energy is virya, saddha, virya. Then the third one is sati, mindfulness. Mindfulness is so important. If you're mindful, even though something is bad, even when you really get hurt a little bit, your mind, but if you observe, it will not continue. You will stop. Then you can, you can check if you whatever. Even you have initial unpleasant feelings, but if you guard yourself with mindfulness, you watch it, then it can be overcome. Then the fourth, concentration. Yeah, sometimes our students, they get so much distraction. One student recently reported to me, she got distraction from others, but when she goes into samadhi, again and again, go into the jhana, then you get away. All this trouble, whatever people talk and this thing, nonsense, couldn't disturb her mind. So this is power. If you have good samadhi, mind very stable, whatever people want to sway you, you have a clarity, stability. Focus mind on the necessary things. And then the fifth one, the power of wisdom. The power of wisdom. You can see all phenomena arise and cease due to conditions. Based on condition, due to conditions, things, phenomena, experiences arise and pass away. Nothing to attach to. So if you have this wisdom, you can free yourself from the entanglement of life. You don't get so easily worked up with things, with unpleasant things, with bad experiences of life. So always ask yourself a question. Ask yourself, what was the suffering, and how much of the suffering, what portion of the suffering are really unavoidable, and to what extent the suffering was actually avoidable, and we inflict on ourselves self-inflicted suffering. We can ask ourselves and check and improve on that. What kind of suffering belong to the first arrow? What kind of suffering belong to the second arrow? That second arrow, you can use your wisdom and your 5 faculties and your mind, to your mindfulness, to try to avoid that. Then we in life we cannot guarantee to avoid storms, we cannot guarantee ourselves to free ourselves from unpleasant things. But one thing we can do in life is to guard ourselves, our internal peace. We can do that. The vipaka, the result of karma, we cannot avoid. Sometimes it just happens. We have no control over them. But what we can have mastery over is our mind, our present mind. You equip your present mind with Dhamma power, and you cannot be carried away like that. So in the Buddhism, Buddhism doesn't guarantee us that we will never encounter suffering again. You cannot say, you cannot have that. But it gives us something very precious. When we face suffering, we no longer be enslaved by it. In fact, for those who are smart and wise, you can actually make good use of suffering. Since it already happened, make good use of it to cultivate wonderful parami, like the parami of patience, endurance, and love and compassion. Those parami, good virtues, good merits that we cultivate in difficult times, usually is more powerful. So make good use of them instead of, and don't give yourself second arrow. Okay? Idang me punya asawakaya wahang hotu idang me punya nibbana sa pacaya hotu mama punya bhagam sabba satana bhajemi te sabbe me sama punya bhagam labantu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.